realized I think a lot more work needs to be done, but they're very effective. Me first land drive come to station, feeling really I'm a mass now. I'm overwhelmed with emotion now. At least more line it. Well, I'm a mass now, making something and making me plus again because I walked. When I was a medical officer, I did vaccination patrols now. It's quite a difficult place as you would have seen. For us to drive in a vehicle and come to this place, I think it's, let me say, it's really satisfying. On Independence Day for the first vehicle to actually reach Maramuni.
What are the emotions that you saw this morning when you came?
Well, a lot of people were really, let me say, a lot of people were a bit emotional. It's an Enga thing, but they don't show it. Only a few people couldn't control. You could see that one of them actually had tears in his eyes when he spoke, and he couldn't finish what he said. As you probably would have realized, because of the difficult terrain here, service delivery in this part of the world is quite difficult. Without access, no teachers come here, even health workers. So now with basic access reaching them now, like I said, there's a lot more things to be done, but basic access reaching them now, I think, for me, it's very satisfying.
Misa sleep up on them all. Now Misa feeling pain blow all. I'm dream blow me. Papa blow me. I'm like pure long here. I'm been stabbed. Now I'm crying long road to go and die. Now this like now I'm 59 years now. I'm been born in 1964. Now time me 10 years. I'm like some independence. Me stop not kissing. All people cry go. Na Misa tell us one time. Karba come here no got na. So Dr. Lino come out check through me only passing na cry. Me cry na lewa me buru. Me come and said na me to go my brother at last you make it. Now you look him light blue all people. Me stop me come long 2011 lo ya me stop. Yeah, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 21, 12 years now. 12 years, sometimes mission balus, STF balus are bringing me. Sometimes, Mr. come on the MMF. Okay, I'm taking me 1 month, but me wait tabanta, time me go long wabik. And then in Pakistan balus long, again I come down. 420 kina long fare. Na difficult long transportation and very high. Mary no got ausik lo ya. Al Mary said die. Misa karim marasin, misa karim second. Na me train nurse, but misa treat them all. Even delivery more pigini too. Na give him marasin too. Second misa give him. Because lo ya mat lo gisi marasin ya.
The Maramuni story is a very important story. For me, I think it's the main project that has taken most of my time in the last 5 years. For a person who's actually walked that track, I think 4 times, it's quite a difficult because road and stuff, it looked a bit easier, but I tell you, it's quite a difficult place to walk. Go by foot. There are 12,000 voting population, so you're looking at about almost over 30,000 people living in that part of the area. Basically, they've been cut from services, all the basic services. So in terms of basic services reaching them, this road is like the lifeline for them. You have a lot of issues with the airstrips and planes don't get to land there. And they go without plane services for up to 6 months or so. Government, with the limited funding that we have, we can't do much for them. But what we can do is we can provide them enabling infrastructure like roads, and they can help themselves. So when I first went, it was quite emotional seeing them, shed tears. It was quite emotional because plenty of people in the line, I've met them when I walked through the villages. First, when I went and I told them that I was going to build this road, they were skeptical. With the same, there was the same campaign message every other member for Wabek actually made for the last 40 years. So they didn't believe me anyway. But I told them anyway that I was going to build. So when I went, achieved what I set out to achieve. For me, I felt really happy at the same time seeing people, emotional. I felt sorry too because the first time I went, seeing a lot of patients line up because they couldn't come here. When I was trying to come back, one of the choppers, there were so many people to jump on the chopper, but there was only 2 spaces. So this is something when those thoughts went through my mind, I felt really sorry. And at the same time, I felt really happy that I had to leave behind a job that I love doing, take on this thing because that achievement actually seeing people have access to basic road. Some people have never seen vehicles for the first time. Lukumola, it was quite good.
These are people from Malaund, one of the rest houses in Maramuni. They follow the road we are constructing, and Malaund is on the other side. So they are following from here. They will be following bush trek and then go over to their village. Okay, and the road that we are constructing and to Pazalagus is this way. A few machines are already out there. We are almost going to Pazalagus. We are going to a village known as Tongler. But these people, they live on the other side, so they are following this bush trek and then they go over to Malaund.
1, 2, 3, Angin karo pagda kain jupon sawa pernyer pon monrong kijaran mon rande bi endakin dulan ngongon andu ben pijmana angin paru ande monlo pijma omong ko yakini juma o bande ya ko mani o erja mirga ba agara bara 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 mana no baar mo pagda ngin bara bara bande mirga agara me ba dili no rayo parmano ari nanda ko ba bumi do no ba agara ira adu bang ka kanu mo no di ama ko ba Ana mga yang anggono birang gonar barang-barang bagla. O maro jang ba abo buam permana no honus ora ba. Ari nona. Ama garande zene ko de lama wa bili de no permana no ya ora ba. Ina sukan no ko. D'abord, nous meilleur plus d'abord. Nous motion road road come down with them. Where you mean stop now, yeah? Namal but the westest part dangerous spot you mean come down and you get 17 or 27 corner about them stop road stop yeah. Come down. Come to Wara not some distance and stop bucket from now Martin from Kabe. Ochem now na. While living stop law upset said that close to Kerayam stop close to yeah. Isla mimi maki mochem. Tongaire mi plaza na be. Pasala sem stop law upset wanda minajak. Close to time. So far so good. People companies close to time by people touchdown law pasala.
In terms of funding, it's quite difficult with the amount of money we used to build road to Maramuni. If we had given it to a contractor, for example, we would have covered maybe a tenth of the distance and money per pennies. So in that Melukumosem, I think that's the direction the country should take, especially when we want to reach rural areas. We should allow the district or the provincial government or whoever it is, their own implementing agencies like the WEX, the provincial WEX, to actually do the project, because by doing that, with less money, you can actually achieve everything. So what we did in this project was Wabek DDA actually set up its own implementing company, WEX, basically a civil construction company. And with that company, there's no other, it's a non-for-profit organization. So what basically means is that every other money that comes in was actually spent on the road. So that's how we were able to get value for the money that we spent. So with that, I think less than 15 million, we've built close to 65 kilometers of road. Now the impact is almost immediate, as I've mentioned. It's just quite significant. You can see in the lives of the people, all of a sudden people are able to access all the services. So meeting us, and that's the direction the country should take. If we are to build rural roads, we should allow the government agencies, the non-for-profit organizations to build, because then you will get more for less money that you spend.
Are we, in a sense, rewriting transport policy and service delivery from a Papua New Guinean standpoint? Do you see that happening?
I think so. We had an agreement with the Plant and Transport Division of WEX. That's how the project started. When we had PTB before, now they've termed it PTD, but during those times, the road conditions in this country were quite good. With the less money we had, the road conditions were quite good. Now all of a sudden, with so much money, the road conditions have actually deteriorated. So there has to be a reason for that. And the way I see it, it's the contract, outsourcing of, it's not bad to build up our own capacity in companies and all that. We can do that in places that already have access, because, we have to grow ourselves. The private sector has to grow to carry this country forward. But at the same time, for us to actually access rural areas, I think we should allow Plant and Transport Division to come in partnership with the provincial governments or the district governments to actually do that. That way, with less money, we, achieve more.
Thank you, Edmond. Think about the other day. Maybe you and Radman and Cove and Garadamon. Oh, Nampagan and Hoping Minagan. Our talking for Mineral, hoping you are about Honda. Hoping you want to have Kumara for Bibi.
For me, I think Tintin Blumilo is a politician and someone all people marking or representing more or parliament now. Deal with them all issues of development knowledge or something. I think I'm one of them too. And on the other side, I think in terms of leadership, I'm not quite desperate to return to parliament, so to speak. Changing the mindset of the people, I think it's more important. I think it's something in terms of provisional leadership, I think. A bit of both, let me be honest. Government service and preaching all man realizing Muslim government and concern on all. It's a two-way thing. So when you reach out to people, the people tend to appreciate the importance of law and order and all our other government services, number two. Number three, and partnership. Building road and easy plus something. Lo building one road, by you pay mamas play improvement, buy him ground, or can something. But lo mibla talk man. You like him road? We are willing to build a road. You take him ownership. You to correct mibla building. So number three, it's important to go into a partnership with people when you bring development to. They must be seen as important stakeholders. When you don't, make them as important stakeholders, all by fight against him. You. Time you talk him all some them come because of you. Now all by mama so I've played a part in this important development. So I'm number 3. Number 4, I think, me look important strong, all workman. They're a very important part of all this. If you have a good team that's working around you, you achieve a lot of things. And the importance of having good workers, I tell you, can never be understated. Like, Wambla money may have some strengths, but all weakness blame to stop now. It's really frustrating to manage people. It's the most difficult thing to do, but when you have a good team around you, things happen well. So I think I'm all for mean something when we look him now. Number 5, I think we look him if government resources are. Nothing can happen without government putting resources where it matters.
In relationships with the national government?
And relationship with the national government, very important. So, like the Maramuni Road, let me thank Prime Minister Marape for putting money aside, putting adequate funds. Also talk thank you to former Prime Minister and Planning Minister Richard Marua. They were the first ones to actually, even though I was in the opposition, they decided to put some money for Maramuni Road. The example of Enga, I think it's quite important because Milukumosem, in terms of bureaucracy, the functionality of bureaucracy in this province is actually hinges more on the leadership provided by our governor. You can see the difference in other provinces. The bureaucracy doesn't seem to work. I mean, in Westminster system, in civilized democracies, I think there's quite a good separation between the two. Even like, for example, Germany, after, when there was no chancellor for a year, close to a year, the bureaucracy was able to perform without that political leadership because they have an established system. But because of the young democracy, that system is not really there. That separation is not really there. Now, the importance of political leadership in our situation, I think it's quite important because Milukumosem in here, with Governor Ipatas at the helm, he kind of drives the agendas for development. I keep on reminding myself that this is something that the people have mandated me to do. Something extraordinary making. And before we reach 50 years of independence, I think if we reach almost all our people in the rural areas, I think there would be a reason for us to really celebrate our 50th anniversary.